Namaskar and Jai Hind. Welcome to another episode of The Brand Called You, a video and a podcast show that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. We are now in season 5 of our show and have over 1900 recordings, which you can see at www.tvcy.in. Today, it's my privilege to welcome Mr. Parth Amin. Parth, welcome to TVCY.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Yesh.
Parth, by sheer foresight of his and his business acumen, has shaped SLK Group as a frontrunner in technology-led business revitalization. A born entrepreneur, people who know him call him a born entrepreneur. He set up the foundation of SLK in simple but yet endearing values and the business principle that has ensured the evolution of SLK to be a bouquet of multiple companies. He's a strong proponent of customer intimacy, people-centric approach, and promoting the well-being of SLKites and the community at large. He's a man of few words, does not talk too much, and he also keeps himself very, very private. He has very gracefully agreed after a lot of persuasion to talk to. It's been last 1 year. I've been trying to get him to talk to us at TVCY. Man keeps very busy, but Parth, I want to thank you for taking time and talking to us today. It's a pleasure having you on the TVCY.
Yep. Thank you very much, Yesh. It's a pleasure to be here.
But I want to, I'm very sure many of our viewers will not know, and your family of entrepreneurs, you're very traditional. A lot of your family members have some very successful businesses, and they were all the old era business of manufacturing and engineering-based businesses. You were also associated in that business very extensively at one point in time. Then you one day decide to make a shift. You shift from engineering and go into entirely a new space, and that to a new generation business of that time into IT. How did that start? And how did that happen? What made you take that bold step at that point in time?
Okay. So this whole journey on IT actually started for me in my head when I was in college. This is in the 80s, early 80s. I saw that, every business magazine, newspapers, everywhere, people like Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Silicon Graphics, some of the companies you may not have, or people may not have heard of, Oracle, Larry Ellison's, they all were on the cover of these magazines. And this is when I was in college and I was in a business school. And I noticed that all of them are coming. So I said, something is going on there in this industry. For example, now you read a lot about AI. Now, of course, the industry has progressed quite a bit. And at that time, I saw this whole shift coming. And I still remember the first IBM PCs coming out. They were the first personal computers. I remember working on floppy disk drives, stuff like that. And then the word processor started coming, then Lotus 123, everything. So I saw this shift happening and I saw it was growing very rapidly. At that point, I kept up with the trend of what was happening. And then I came back to India after my graduation, started working in the family business, like you said. And I tried to see how the family business could have shifted in that direction. But the appetite to do that was not much. So I decided in 2000, after a few years of working in the family business, that it's time for me to make my own journey in this line of business. And that's when I broke off from the family business and started this company on my own. And along with, of course, a team of people. Of course, my wife supported me 100%. So I would also call her a co-founder of SLK. And I had another a friend who, we kind of started this business. But that's really how it came. I like to look at what are the trends happening in the world. And if there is space for me to be a part of it, then I like to take that challenge and build a business on it, in that area. So that's how SLK started.
Yeah. So, SLK is what we keep hearing. What does this SLK stand for? What is for? Can you just elaborate a little more So this is largely for our viewers to understand, know a little more about SLK, because I hear this word, everybody said SLK, but not very many people know what SLK stands for and the values
Yeah,
associated with it.
absolutely. So SLK actually are the three initials of my grandfather, Shantanu Rao Lakshman Rao Kirloskar. He was one of the pioneers in the Indian engineering space many, many years ago. He was responsible for the growth of the Kirloskar Group, which of course was started by my grandfather. And I had the opportunity to spend a lot of time during my growth years with him. And there are a whole bunch of values he taught me. And I just felt it's best. It's sorry, let me put my phone off. I felt it's best as an honor to him and as to show my respect. I decided to call the company SLK. A lot of people do know him. A lot of younger generations don't know him, and he taught me a lot of values over the years when I spent time with him. In fact, we stayed in the same house for almost 8, 9 years. So we used to, every evening we used to catch up and have dinners whenever he was in town. That time I didn't travel much. But I think the values that the Kirloskar group had is something that were always ingrained in me. And one of the values which they believed is, it's not about making money. Money will be a byproduct. But one of the values is whatever people we employ, the key is to look after their families. And yesterday, something very interesting happened where I was contacted by a gentleman of a very large company. And he told me how he was helped by when his father died, how these values came in play. And my grandfather's younger brother in Bangalore, Ravi Kirloskar, actually helped out the family, and now he's reached a very prestigious stage in a very large company. But I think these values make a big difference. It's about helping out families. It's not about making money. Money is a byproduct. If you do good, then money will always come. But I think the number of values, and for me at SLK, we have tried to, or not we have tried, we make sure that these values are ingrained in all the people, and also with my children, with my family, that these values are very, very important. And that's how I call the company SLK in respect of my grandfather.
Parth, talk to us. I've seen you build SLK from your early days, and today is what a huge campus you have. What a lovely organization you built. Will you be kind enough to just walk us through the journey of SLK in a brief and tell us how it started and how it is and what it has become today? What is the size of the company, in terms of people, and what is the niche work you people are doing?
Mm-hmm. So as I said, we started the company in 2000. We were a bunch of 20, 30 people. And at that time, the objective was, and that was during the dot-com boom. It all started, and then the dot-com bust also happened in 2000. So I remember very clearly when we started the company, I said that we will only go after, and this is during the boom years, at the beginning of 2000. I decided that I did not much believe in the dot-com boom that was happening, very similar to what we experienced last year, where this whole madness was going on at the IPOs. And I said, we will only go after large, good old brick and mortar companies and not after technology companies at that time. So our first customer was a very large Fortune 500 company called Emerson. And how did we get that customer? My philosophy was very simple at that time as a entrepreneur, that we have to get business, and to get the business, we should not be ashamed to go and talk to anybody, because there's only one way, which is up, or you can't come down any more because you are just starting a company. So we got Emerson as a customer, and at that point we were given a chance by a gentleman at Emerson that you do this software and I'll open up more opportunities for you. And we were competing against all the big boys. We were just a startup. And at that time, the niche that we decided is we will do things which others cannot do. So very difficult technology problems we had taken up. For Emerson, they wanted to standardize the whole supply chain across the world. They had many factories. So they wanted to understand that part and put it all on software. And we developed a software based on the last 5 years data, how to predict. So we started in very niche areas. Then we started building again, what is customer's problem? The main thing we always did is what are the problems the customer has? And that has really helped us gain more foothold with different customers. And over the years, we have built several companies, including, for testing automation, for AI. And the latest venture I see opportunity is in the world of hydroponics, agriculture. So I'm going to make a shift again, not the whole group, but we are making a shift again to get into agriculture because, again, a major trend which is happening in the world is population is increasing and land is going down and food is always going to be required. Also, some of the largest companies in the world, privately held, like we are based in the agriculture business or the food business. So
Right.
that's how I, started off, and it's been definitely a difficult journey at the beginning. One more value that we decided, that I decided at that point, is we will not take debt. So we are still a privately held, debt-free company, and all our businesses have grown without taking any loan. So cash flow is very, very, very important for us.
So it's very interesting you say that, you are debt free, and if you look around today, all the new era businesses and the new companies which are coming up, they're burning cash, and they burn cash, and how? So what is your take? How do you see that? How do you see that market? How do you see that space? How do you see that operation? So do you have a philosophy which you say no debt, cash is important, and you generate your own cash? But here are people who burn cash and take more and take more and keep burning it. So how do you relate to this?
Very honestly, I cannot relate to it. I think it's just kind of madness, and it's follow the crowd. But no, this is something I don't understand. I like to have my sleep in the night, not worry about owning money to anybody. And also, I think this philosophy has helped us during COVID years. We really never had to worry about anything because we had cash in the bank, and we still do. And so, yeah, it's just very difficult for me to understand this whole philosophy of raising millions and millions of dollars and burning cash. It's very difficult. People say that, this business or that business, you can do it. Well, whatever business I think you can do it, or most businesses you can do it, as long as you don't try to eat more than you can, or chew more than you can eat. Yeah.
No, Parth, you make it sound very simple and easy. The way you say it. I want you to go back and talk to us a little more about your early days. What were the challenges you're facing when you're building an organization? And the way for somebody to go out and say that I'll not take debt, it would have definitely built some enormous levels of stress of a different kind. And so how did you and Roshan, your wonderful wife, manage to put your whole journey and the story together?
Yeah. So when we had started, I think the biggest challenge was of employees, because in our business, employees, you need people. So I'll share something which is difficult to believe. For almost 4 or 5 years, we did not disclose our revenue to any employee. Only myself and my CFO and the accounts people knew the revenue. And why did we do that? We did that because at that time, everybody was talking of how much of revenue and what kind of campus they have and stuff like that. But we were competing with all the big boys. So we did not want to make people feel we were any less, internal people. And hence, we never disclosed the revenue. I still remember when we started, you have seen our campus now, which is, it's a fairly decent campus. But when we started talking of challenges, when we decided we won't take debt, we went to the blood bank and got partitions on rent. We rented all our furniture in the company. rented, not bought. Why rented? Because your cash flows less when you rent it. So yeah, we did stuff like that, traveling at that time. Although, we also decided that our customer base will be in North America. Why North America? Because it's a very large pie with a lot of business there, and we can be just a drop in the ocean. So we had to travel a lot. At that point, we used to travel by Visit USA tickets. I don't know if you know those. They were $100 a coupon, point to point.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, we did. We used to drive everywhere, stay in, motels, and it was fun. It was definitely a lot of fun. When we went for presentations, etc., you see the competition come in with 4 and 5 people. For us, it was me and one more gentleman at the most, or not. But yeah, that's how we did it. It was bootstrapping everything and watching cash flow. I think that was the main thing. And then over the years, as we started building up our revenues, after 15 years or 17 years, we built a campus, which also was done without any debt. So a lot of challenges, Shesh, but I think that's the fun of it. And everybody goes through challenges when you are trying to start a new business. So that's how it was.
So yeah, how big is SLK now in terms of people? If you were to say, what is the organization size?
Yeah, right now we are at about.
And you're across you're only in India, or you have reached your presence in other parts of the world?
Yeah, so I don't have any customers in India. All my customers are in North America and Europe. And we also decided deliberately when we started the company that we will stick to North America. And even in North America, we decided we will stay everything east of Colorado. Because from a travel perspective, we didn't need a big army of people for managing, plus New York and Chicago and all the East Coast are where all the brick and mortar companies were located, the old companies. So we have about 5,000 people actually. We had more. We sold a company 2 years ago, and now, we are at about 5,000 people. And we have multiple businesses, like I said, from software to AI to testing. We have products also. And we have recently also got into a new venture in the world of agriculture, like I told you. So that is another company we have, which is interesting and very different business, but very interesting. I would say the main thing I have learned over the years is you need a good team.
Right.
Without a team, it is impossible to do it, and they better be better than me in whatever they do. So I'm just, I would say a conductor, and the team has to work together.
Super. Very well said, Parth. Very well said. Parth, are you, after having done what you have done and accomplished what you have accomplished, I know you are a very happy man by nature. You don't carry any stress to bed. Are you satisfied? Are you done? What or are you say now? This is it? I've achieved what I set out to achieve, or there's a lot more yet to. So what's coming? What's in the store now?
Yeah, as an entrepreneur, it's very difficult to sit still, Shesh. So yes, I'm extremely happy with what has happened. I'm also very happy about the family. So overall, I am a happy man. Where we are going to go next, who knows? Like I said, agriculture is something I'm pursuing in addition to software. And I firmly believe that, I've reached a stage in life where one has to also have fun. Not just work like I used to. So I'm beginning to do that. I'm learning how to do that, which is interesting. But yes, I'm absolutely a happy man because now I'm building businesses that I enjoy building, which are more of a passion, and that's really what I'm doing. So overall, very happy man.
Fantastic. So you have made on 2-3 occasions, you just in the last few minutes made a reference to agriculture. Would I'm not going to force you, but if you want to talk, would you like to tell us a little more about it, if it's okay for you to talk?
Sure.
Or
Sure.
I'll leave it to you.
Yeah, I will give you a little bit about it. So as an entrepreneur, what we do really is look for vacuum in the markets. Where are the businesses that need, where can you build a business, and where is a vacuum in the market? So I've been always interested in hydroponics, but I never actually did it for various reasons over the last 6-7 years. One of them being cost of real estate. You need a lot of real estate if you want to do reasonable size revenue and profits in agriculture. So I looked around and I found that Maldives is a very virgin territory, and I decided to get into agriculture there. As most people know, Maldives is a very large tourist uh, uh, attraction for a lot of people. Everybody, it's in the bucket list. But I was surprised to find that there is no agriculture there. Everything is imported. So when we started looking into the whole project and the business, we also realized that there are several other birds we can kill with one stone, which is agriculture. And let me state some of them, and that's the bigger objective. So one is, of course, food is needed. So the country needs food security. Number two, there is a huge, because there is no food security and food comes from abroad, there is not very good nutritious food out there. Everything is imported and everything comes from abroad. Number three, the food that comes creates a lot of garbage, tons of garbage. Like, the country generates almost 400 plus tons of garbage every day. Okay, and a lot of it is food packaging, styrofoam. Number four is carbon emission, because everything is flown down from. So there's a ton of carbon footprint left. And last but not least, is we're also helping the country save tons of foreign exchange. So these are the 5 big objectives we are trying to achieve, and the project has started very well, and so far so good. Also, as I mentioned earlier, agriculture, the population is going to be almost 11 billion in a few years of the earth, and we are shrinking the land size everywhere. So agriculture is something that is going to be in great demand or need moving forward. And that's really why we decided to go into this field.
The path, wonderful. I think wishing you all the very best. I know you are in a very advanced stage of the whole plan and execution of it. So wishing you all the very best and good luck on that. Just, I want to ask you a question, which is, you briefly made a mention that you are now trying to also enjoy life, and you are trying to, you're celebrating life as you go along. And one of your very keen interests is diving. Now, I've not come across very many entrepreneurs who have many entrepreneurs who have many passions, many interests in divers, many play golf, many do flying, this, that, and whatnot. But very few take on to deep sea diving. And you go all around the world in middle of nowhere in the deep sea, and you go for diving. Now, how did that interest start, and why did you choose diving, and what is the thrill you get out of it?
Yeah. So yeah, diving is started diving almost I would say 20 years ago, maybe. Yeah, no, more than 25, almost 25 years ago. The interest has always been there since I was a child, but never had the opportunity. Then someone told me in India, diving has started in the Lakshadweep Islands, and that's when me and my wife, along with our kids, the kids were very small. We decided to go there, and then we just fell in love with the underwater world. The underwater world is magical, absolutely magical, until you see it. And in those years before the El Nino currents had come and this whole global warming had started, the coral was full of life. And there is a lot in the oceans below. People say, we've explored more of the moon and the universe more than we have done in the oceans below. So I've always been interested in it. I've read a lot about it. I always followed Jacques Cousteau, who was the father of the aqualung, or what we use for diving. And yeah, it's just been a very fascinating, I guess, hobby of mine, and I've just been interested, and that's what led me to my other project also, which is in the Maldives, because it's a heaven for diving. So
Right.
now I'm, following my passions
Passion.
and building business about it. But if you haven't done it, I would strongly recommend try it. I'll take you down.
Thank you.
So,
Appreciate that, Parth.
yep.
Parth, uh, one question which I've asked every person who I've spoken to on this TBCY show. Parth, have you experienced failure? And if yes, what has been your learnings from it? It could be
Sure.
personal or professional, whatever.
Okay. So failure, of course, I've experienced failure many, many times. And this is a quote that Abdul Kalam, our old president,
President.
made. I don't know if you know what FAIL stands for, FAIL.
Yes.
FAIL stands for first attempt in learning.
Right.
Okay. So without failure, I don't believe we can learn anything from our childhood. We failed to walk at one time, then we learn how to walk. So if you start from there, of course, we have experienced failure, lots of failure. In terms of business, have I failed in any business? Yes, I have. We had acquired a company in California, and it didn't do well, so we had to sell it off. And learned a lot why we failed in that business. So absolutely, this is just one example, but there are many, many, many examples I have where we have failed. So I think everybody fails in life, and it's very, very important to fail and accept the failure and learn from the failure. I think that's the most important part about failure. So yes, I have failed many times.
Parth, both your boys, Vidur and Shantanu, are in the business now. And they're all involved very actively. And it's such a pleasure to see both of them, become what they have become, wonderful young men. How do you, and you as a family are also such a very close-knit unit. Now, how a lot of families I see who are in the business, and we know many of them, and who are not able to get the families, the younger generation integrated into the business, and if they integrated also to keep them rowing in one sync. You have achieved that. What is the mantra behind this?
Okay, so I think it's good to have the family. I would say the mantra would be more than anybody would be my wife. Because when the kids were growing up, we made sure, both of us, especially her, she spent a lot of time with them, more than I did because I was traveling a lot. But she allowed me, gave me the freedom to do it, and made sure the boys understood why I was traveling. I very seldom went to the school events because I was traveling. But at that time, I told my wife that, right now I'm not able to spend enough time with the kids. And we told the kids also the same thing, both the boys, Shantanu and Vidur, both, that, but when you guys grow up, if this business becomes successful, you guys are going to work. And then we are going to spend 8 hours a day, every day, minimum 8 hours a day together, which is really what is happening now. Both the boys, I think, from a very young age, being a family business, we always encourage them to join the business. I personally, against a lot of people, I made sure, after the education, they came back and started working with us in the company. Many times, a lot of families tell the kids to go and work in some consulting firm or with some other firm, etc. But the way I was brought up, which is get into the deep end of the family business. That's what I've done for both of them. And both of them, of course, initially they could not connect the dots, but now they're very well seasoned and they're very well doing a very good job with the business. Also, we spend as a family, Roshan, myself, and the boys, we spend a lot of time in the evenings together. And I would say almost every evening, if we are home, we are all together and we sit and chat about all kinds of things. And sometimes, yes, we fight also as a family, which is normal. Nothing wrong with that. So I think the kids have grown up with us and now they are very happy to be part of the business and integrate. So more than anything, I think it's communication with your kids. They have even, at times they express themselves and tell us what they don't like, as recently as last month, about certain things. And yeah, we have to address them, but it's better people talk about such things than not talk. And now we have also the daughter-in-laws. My elder son Vidur is married. Madhu has also come into the family. And yeah, these values have to be put into the kids. I think it's all communication. You have to talk to your kids and educate them about this. So yeah.
No, I think it's just wonderful. Wishing you all as a family a great success in the years ahead. Now, Parth, amongst all this, what's happening around, how do you see the next 10 years, A, for India, 2, globally, what's going to be happening in this whole, industry space? How the IT industry is going to change, because a lot of talk about chat GPT, AI, how the jobs are going to be threatened, businesses are going to be challenged. How do you see this? What is your personal view on this?
Okay. So I will not comment about India because I think we read enough about it. So I will not comment about India. And but in the IT space, there is definitely, so we saw, the first, if you look at different waves that have come in the IT space, we started with the microprocessors, which started many, many years ago, and Moore's law, and that kept doubling, and people did not believe what Gordon Moore had said about the number of processors on a silicon chip, and that kept multiplying. And then over the years, we have seen the personal computer revolution from mainframe. Then we saw the whole internet come in, and that created a whole bunch of different opportunities for us. Along with that, this industry has shifted dramatically. Where is AI going to take us? We have, of course, been studying a lot. We are very much involved in the world of AI. AI is definitely going to have a big impact on jobs. I'm not saying that whether jobs will go or whether jobs will stay, but definitely they're going to change. The nature of work we do in the IT space is going to 100% change. If people don't stay relevant, I think they will be challenged. There's enough examples in the past. For example, if you look at the telco industry, the telecommunication industry, at that one time, operators, switchboards were a job. A lot of men and women had the job. That is completely eliminated now. So I see a huge shift happening, especially in the BPO industry, the business process outsourcing industry. Because today with AI, we don't need humans to extract data. We don't need humans to read a lot of stuff, including images, including music. So I think there's going to be a major shift, and companies and people have to get themselves relevant with what is needed. Example also in the manufacturing space where our family business is, I have seen the whole shift, where labor cost was a big deal at one time, and people came to India because of labor costs, but not anymore, not anymore. The robots and the automation has taken over. Same thing we are going to see in the IT space. 100% we are going to see this major shift. Programming will also probably going to get irrelevant, because you don't need to, there's going to be a ton of programming already available, or it's going to be all done in on the cloud by lots of people, and they will upload their code. So 100% there's going to be a big shift. And I believe, companies have to get their act together in India and abroad. And as Andy Grove said of Intel, only the paranoid survive. So yeah, you better be scared about it and take some action now.
Wonderful, I think. Very wonderful insight, Parth. Thank you for sharing that. Parth, we're running out of time, but I have one last question for you, which I want to ask you. You used the word, which was also my next question, but you also used that word very frequently in this last comments, what you're making, the word relevant, staying relevant. How does Parth Amin stay relevant? What does he do? What does he practice?
Yeah, it really is. I talk of connecting the dots. I mentioned that. And how do you connect dots? You connect the dots only by reading and observing what is going around you. So that's really how I stay relevant. I like to read a lot. I like to look at what are the big trends happening in the world, and where is that going. For example, space is becoming another big area. Space, not just travel, but what's happening in space with what SpaceX is doing and other companies are doing. So I stay relevant by just reading and keeping up with what is happening, and observing a lot.
Parth, thank you very much for your time. It's been a wonderful talking to you. We're running out of time. Otherwise, we could just possibly have many more questions to ask you, many more, there's so much more we can talk about, but we will come back and connect with you at a later date. But wishing you and the whole SLK family all the very best and good luck for the future.
Thank you.
So,
thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the Brand Called You.